Good morning. How are you?
I like the fact that we do our little cheers in the mornings. Nobody knows what's inside the cups, but welcome. And today we're talking about website optimization. And if you have not been following us, but kind of enjoy this series, just bear in mind there's so much to talk about when it comes to websites and marketing and how that impacts your marketing, that we have been doing a little mini series along the way. So today we're talking about website optimization because and the main reason for this series is because a lot of people will think, oh, I've done my website and now I just go and do my marketing and I'll shout out and everyone will come and visit my website and everything will work brilliantly. But I have often, when I've worked with clients, had to have a look at their website and tell them straight away what's not going to work. Because there isn't a clear call to action, the messaging is just really fragmented all over the website. You don't know why you're there, you don't know if you're in the right place. But there's so much from a technical aspect as well in order to make sure that you convert people as soon as they arrive on the website. So enter Karen, our website marketing guru. And I just thought it would be a really interesting discussion to have whilst we have our cuppas. Keep it lighthearted and just bear in mind, we just, no matter how progressed the business is that I work with, from like startups to 5 to 10 years, I've had to do this work of reflection because there's always something that's missing. So don't feel that this might be too basic, or if you're somebody that's along in your business journey that you're going, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't even thought about this. Don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Just consider this as a really helpful checklist. So Karen, I have to ask, because sometimes when I start hearing things about website, I sort of blur over because there's so much tech talk that goes on. So let's ask, what is your definition? Like, what is the definition of website optimization? What does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it encompasses, again, it's such a big subject. I think it encompasses quite a lot of things. So some people say, oh, website optimization, that's all about SEO. Yes, that's just one aspect of it, making sure that you've got the site, you've got your keywords in and everything else. Then you've got kind of the performance or the speed, the loading speed. So that's another part of optimization. User journey as well. How easy is it to navigate around the website? Again, I consider that also optimization. It's basic. In a nutshell, it's sort of making the most of your websites, which you've kind of referred to originally. So, making sure that the content is right, that it's, easy to follow, that you're in the right place, the messaging is right, there's a clear call to action to tell people what to do next, that it's quite quick to load, that it's visible to search engines. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell.
Lot there. And also we've talked about, we're going to go through some of your top tips of what to make sure that you cover, and I'll refer back to previous shows that we've done as well, because as you're saying, there's so much there. We don't want to overwhelm you. These are supposed to be bite-sized chunks, like, I kind of know what to think about now. It's helpful, guide. It's not meant to overwhelm at all. But so I mean, I suppose let's start from what can contribute to helping making your site so visible in the first place. We won't go into SEO at this point, will we? But just from a very technical point of view and all of the tips and tricks we could be doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, I've had clients who've worked, done literally just been blogging, but they're picking the right kind of subjects. So, a really good example was a client of mine, Cambridge Food Tour, and she was posting a lot of, regularly blogging, but she was talking about, restaurants in the area or new pubs opening or new things happening. And so she was coming up right near the top of the search engines. She wasn't paying anyone to do SEO. She wasn't doing Google ads. She was just constantly posting about things that people wanted to hear about. And so she was coming up.
In her area.
Yeah, so you being more visible is obviously, blogging is a great way to do that. So just in terms of the basic SEO, because I'm not an SEO expert, if people want ongoing SEO help, I'll refer them to an SEO expert. But there's things like that you can do, just, making sure that you are constantly tweaking the site, you're adding new content and everything as well. So that will help your visibility. Another thing, obviously, is, making sure that you're driving people to visit the site. So it's all very well having your site sitting there, but you're not sending anyone to it. That's not going to help you. And obviously, things like people visiting the site, how long they stay on the site, being able to easily move around the site, things like that all contribute to your visibility when people are searching for you in Google.
And we can check that out. If you have your website and you have Google Analytics, for example, that data is there to have a look, because sometimes trying to explain to clients that actually people aren't staying on the site for long. Well, how do you see that? Well, your bounce rate's high. So it means that they come onto the page, and if they're leaving very quickly, it just, straight away, they've not been welcomed, or they're not clear as to why they're here. And that also will reflect badly on sort of how Google will rank you, won't it? Whereas if you're creating a really good, valuable, targeted blog, for example, then actually people are reading it, they're spending that time on the website, so Google's thinking, oh, this is a website that's actually working. So yeah, I think that's a really...
And also then, you get to the end of the blog, then the person goes, I really like that, what do I do next?
Oh,
and quite often that's a really missed opportunity. So again, going back to what Gerla did, she was, really looked at it in Cambridge Food, she really looked at analytics, and she found that one of her most visited pages was cheap eats in Cambridge. And she looked at it and people were just bouncing off, and she's like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And she had a look at it, and it was so old and she hadn't updated it. So people were visiting it, they were going onto Google searching, they were finding a post, going to it, but then it wasn't relevant anymore because it was outdated. So what we did was she updated all the content, she made it look really nice and flashy, had everything in, updated all the new stuff. And then at the end we had a call to action. So you want to find out more, maybe go visit here or look at my tours and that, and it was actually then converting into business. So those are just simple tips, and so often, at the end of a blog post, what do you want them to do next? Visit a service, or maybe sign up to your email for more information.
Absolutely. Even having that on your page, like just having the sign up, if this is why you're here and you want this direct, if this is why you're here, make sure you've got that call to action there on your homepage, but like you say, on the blogs and internal links. So that's what people call internal links, isn't it?
Yeah, so making them go to other pages, interlinks, yeah, between the pages, definitely, to keep them moving through the site, so they're flowing through the site. And I think that's really important, because people might visit your site and then they don't sign up to, they're not ready to buy then or contact you then, but they might sign up to your email and then hear about. But if you haven't got any kind of call to action there, you've lost them, and they might forget to come back and visit again.
Absolutely. So how do you help businesses improve the conversion on their site? What other aspects have you got? What have you got for us, Karen?
Well, so that was one of the things, and again, you can get plugins where you can literally create a number of these kind of call to actions at the end and have them automatically inserted at the bottom of each blog post, or a certain category, so you can have different ones for different categories. So once you set that up at the click of a button, you can assign a page or different posts or whatever, and you've got that already set in. So it's not necessarily huge amounts of work. So that's one of the things. Schedule a call is very popular, so booking a call, you can use something like Acuity or Calendly, and schedule a call with you to have a chat. Obviously, buying a product or service. So you don't need to have a full-on shop, you could just have a payment button or a PayPal button where people can just buy a service. Fill out a form, that's another call to action, fill out a form and send it to you. You could have a download, or even go visit your social media.
Yeah,
I mean, that's sometimes people just even miss that out. And then there's other things like quizzes as well, which are getting more popular. So
yes,
and they're a bit more fun. Obviously they can be quite complex to set up, but that can work really well.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I think we forget that, don't we? It's, again, you're so right. People might not necessarily be there to buy from you straight away. So what are the other entry points of working with you or getting to know you? And again, social media is like the first one, isn't it? So absolutely. And also we were talking about the typical sitemap breakdown, which we talked about in a previous show about your ideal sort of homepage and creating the best homepage and what that looks like. So perhaps you can go into, in order for people to convert, again, it's the homepage that we've talked about, making sure that it's relevant, but then what's the background behind that?
Yeah, so I mean, a typical, if you sort of a small business, you would have obviously your homepage, which is kind of leads you out, gives you a really good overview of what you do, who you are, who you serve, and how people can take that next action, or how they can buy from you. Then you have an about page, which again, you start off, it's also about the client, just not just, so I'm this, that, again, you're kind of reiterating who you're serving and why and what you do. And then you can go into your story and your values and your philosophies, your manifesto, anything like that. Then you'd have obviously your services page, or a shop or a gallery or something like that. You might then want to have maybe a portfolio or projects or case studies, or again, gallery if you're a photographer. And then you could have a blog where you can be adding content or resources. So, I mean, that could be blogs, that could be downloads, it could be videos, it could be audio. You don't have to always blog, for people who don't necessarily like to write and have the time, pop your videos on there. And then your contact page. And some people say, oh, well, do I need an about page? This is my homepage, my about page. Or do I need a contact page? And there's different schools of thought on that. But I just want things easy for the client and what they expect. So I always add a contact page and an about page, because I think people always, and if it's missing, I'm like, where is this? I want to find out more.
I get so annoyed if I can't find a contact or even a phone number. I know that's old fashioned, but email, phone number, I'm not really worried about, it's all the social media links. But the other thing is that if you're engaging in PR, then yeah, they want to know if you're somebody that is promoting yourself, trying to get your business out there, you should be putting your contact details. Like if you're contacting a journalist anyway, you should absolutely be putting your contact details there straight away. But if it's someone that has found you through social media, which is another thing that we talk about, and that, a lot of social media content can actually attract the right media attention. When they're looking for you, they'll go onto your website, and if they cannot find a contact, that infuriates them. So yes, I agree with you. Content page, please.
Yeah, and if you're a physical business, find us, put a map. Oh, the amount of sites I've been to, and it's like, where is it? And I've got to physically go and type the address into Google and try and find it, make it easy for people. Again, all of that is about optimizing your site.
And you talk about like Google Your Business, like we were talking about all the different things like Google compatibility. So that leads us on to the next one. So Google My Business, go for it.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's a great little tool that people can set up free. And it's for people who are not sure what it is. When you type in a company or whatever, it's that little bit you get on the right-hand side, which has got a map and it sort of tells your business, and then there's a review section and everything like that. And what this can really help boost, you being found, especially local on your phone. So a lot of people who've got physical based businesses, I mean, definitely you should be on there. And there's things that you can do, like getting people to leave reviews on there, helps again sort of put you further up the rankings, when you've been listed for something. But there's also things that they've introduced now, like well, it's been for quite a long time now, but putting posts on there, and you can then link back to your website, and also putting events on there. So if you've got workshops, anything like that, you can do that. Add an image, add a bit of text, you can put the dates in, and then you can put a book button, and that goes to your website or wherever you've got that, so people can book and pay.
Oh, amazing. So again, the only other thing that I was going to say as well that I can think of, speed. So when we go onto the website, and I know that if I visit a slow website, it's just the age of tech. Don't know about you, but I get really irritable if I see that whirring wheel, or if anything is just like trying to load up. So what can we do to improve, you know, speed on the website? Because again, that's a turn off for me. I want to leave if I can't access that site or information quickly. So any tips there?
Yeah, it is. It's a big one, and it's getting harder and harder as well, because especially if you've got WordPress sites, you know, it's a bit like your phone or something. Every time you download an update, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're constant, it's an ongoing process. So again, a lot of people, they build the website and then they just kind of leave it, but you can't, you've got to be working on it all the time. And so there's various things like what they call caching plugins, and those kind of help to sort of compress things and help speed up the website. There's also another thing called like Cloudflare, which is, I mean, this is going a bit techy or whatever, but again, it just helps sort of, cache your website so it loads a lot quicker. There's also obviously images. So images and sliders are a big resource and can cause the website to really load slowly. So you've got to really make sure that your websites are, the right size, that they've been compressed, and that they've been turned into a format. One of the latest, a lot of people upload things like PNGs, but they're much bigger than JPEG. But you've also got another format now called WebP. And again, you can do this with plugins on your website, converting all your images to WebP, which is much, much quicker, much faster. So those are some of the things you can do speed wise. I mean, think sliders are kind of going out of fashion a bit because they're really heavy,
right,
to load. So a lot of people now, instead of just putting, like a banner or a hero image, as you would call it. But obviously, the more images and things that you've got going on your page, the slower it's going to be to load. So another thing which can really slow down sites is having the pop-ups on your page. As soon as you arrive on the page and you've got this pop-up come up, all of these little integrations and fancy functionality you have adds all this background stuff that that drives it and helps it work, code. So the more you have of that, the slower the website's going to be. So it's just about creating a balance. Yeah,
I was going to say, I find it more stressful if I have like 2 pop-ups straight away on a site. I'm like, get it away. So keeping it simple, and again, that's why the sitemap, planning that sitemap, making sure that it just flows, making sure that every page, your content, it flows, you know what to do. You're sort of like easing them along that journey. That's super helpful.
Yeah, and with the pop-ups as well, I mean, especially certain types of pop-up, if it's showing on mobile and covering you, Google are going to penalize you for that.
Oh, okay.
And I've been to sites where I literally cannot view the site because it's covered so much I can't actually close it down, and it's like you've lost me. And I'm just like, I can't believe people haven't even looked at that. So again, if you are going to put some sort of pop-up up, maybe you want to think about not doing it on mobile and having it embedded instead, or put it on a different page. If people are visiting your home page and they're sort of getting to know you, if you've got a pop-up coming up straight away, I mean, I don't know, I get annoyed with it. It's like, I don't even know you yet and you're forcing me to sign up to your email list. Yeah. But it can work in shops, for example. Like yesterday I was buying some stuff from Holland and Barrett, and then it popped up and said, sign up and get 20% off. I'm like, sure. When you're in the middle of shopping. So, so it can work, but it's just being mindful of
understanding which business it is and where that customer is in their journey. Because obviously, if you're visiting Holland and Barrett, it's evident that you want something from Holland and Barrett. Whereas if you're looking for information as to who best to choose, there'll be a slight difference in that approach. Yeah. So therefore it might be a little bit more time to warm up that journey. This has been brilliant. So again, we've talked about content, value of content, social media links. But again, I'm just going to quickly go through it. Is there anything else that you can think of? And whilst you're going through your list, is there anything else that we've covered?
I think I'm just looking through my list because I just thought I'll just refer back just to make sure that I think I've covered most things I want to, but I suppose one of the last sort of things, I mean, there's probably loads more, but one of the last things I had on my list was you know, when you're sharing your website, share it everywhere, you know, on your email signature, on other social media sites. You know, I've been to a lot of social media sites where they don't link back to their website, on your business card, on flyers, you know, even in your banners or certain images on social media, you know, if you've got them like a template, you can add it there.
Absolutely, you can put it on there, can't you? Especially if you've got the banner design at the back, make sure it's all on there. Save space, don't put it in the actual copy, put it in the actual banner, they can see it. Wonderful. Yeah, brilliant. So I just want to do a quick recap as well. Conversations that we have had around sort of like website, we've literally gone through it, haven't we? We've gone through sort of like domain names, we've gone through like the importance of choosing the right domain name, the right type of web hosting. We have gone through which platform to go through for what type of business would better suit you. So again, we just want to make sure that the main gist of what we're trying to do here is to make sure that you're not wasting time, money and budget by having to repeat, go back and rectify mistakes that if you just had a bit more knowledge, you could have sort of sailed through. And it's easier to tweak than to completely break down and start again, isn't there? Because I know that, you know, sometimes it's really held up campaigns for us. For me, it has, and for you, I'm sure it's like the cost that's involved. So we've talked about website platforms. We've also talked about creating the right home user, like the home page, like what that journey looks like. We've looked at tech, we've looked at funnels, we've looked at, oh my God, content marketing. So there is so much that I think this is why I am so passionate for clients to understand your website is the hub for all of your marketing, because this is where you're going to house it, because social media platforms will come and go. And I know you might think that, oh, they're so big and, you know, they're never going to go anywhere. Facebook has just had yet another algorithm change. Like everyone's complaining, going, what's going on right now?
And people are leaving as well.
Yeah, we're looking for alternatives. So again, it could be, I know that your email list is going to be the one thing that stays consistent. It will be the one mode of communication that whatever happens, you have got your email list. So to nurture that, you need to bring them back. You need to get them to sign up. You can always share that sign up to your email list, but it is really important to make sure that to build that relationship as to who they're signing up for. They'll come back to your website to have a look. They'll look at your social media to have a look. So it really is, I mean, again, I cannot say it enough. I should be called like Join the Dots as the company name between us. It's like how to join the dots between, you know, your business goals, your marketing goals, your sales goals.
And it's also you own, like you say, you own it, your website, don't you? Unless, of course, you've got it on something like Squarespace or Shopify, then, you know, if something happened to them, you'd be a bit stuck. But you do, it's your own property, you know, so I think it's a great asset to have. So definitely use it to your advantage.
Yeah, make the most out of it, definitely. And you know, again, we will have other chats, like, you know, I'm doing a lot more work myself about, you know, just using the right tags to make sure that, you know, on the traffic driver sites like YouTube and Pinterest, like what is it that we have to do? So we'll get some experts in to talk about that for sure, because there's so much more.
As you as well, you're an expert in all of those things, and marketing and PR and integrated communication. So we'll have to do a series with you on that as well.
We'll have to have a look at that. Coming soon. I've got the plan. I'm making the plan to help you out, guys. So we'll make sure that it's bite-sized chunks for you to understand, take away, so that if whoever you work with, you are better briefed, you have that control and you have that knowledge to build and drive your business forward. That is what is key here. Thank you so much for your time, Karen. We did really well on time as well.
We did.
High five to you. Thanks so much, guys. Join us next week and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.